Today's video is brought to you by Jackery Portable Power Products. Ooh, we're going dramatic with this one. These things are packed full of power. They have USB ports on the front, pure sine wave inverters so it's safe on all your delicate devices, and yup, inside of that thing is lithium power. They're super easy to use, the screen displays are amazing. Take a look at that thing. I beat the crap out of that one. That's the small 240. And that thing's been with me for 3 years and just works every day, all the time. And they have one for just about everybody in any size. Jackery's having a sale on right now until December 10th. Links are down below. Ooh, that was fun. Here I am out here in the backcountry, living life on my own terms, doing things the way I want to do them. And if I want to live this way, then I'm going to live this way. I spent too many years of my life being stuck in that cookie cutter system that everybody wanted me to be in. You know, buy shaving cream to shave. Nah, not anymore, screw that. I'm just going to dry shave. Why? Because I don't care. I don't really feel like buying shaving cream anymore. There's a lot of things I do living in the van that are different from the old life I used to live. My van is small and sometimes can get very dirty. And sometimes I reach down on the floor and grab dirty socks from the day before and not even take a sniff of them because I know they already stink, and I just shove them on my feet anyway. Why? Because it's my life and I'm living it on my terms. I mean, if I want to park my van way out in the middle of the backcountry, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever I want. Why? Because it's my life to live. Welcome to today's video. This is more of a Q&A video, but that's farther at the end of this one. The snow line up there sure came down a lot last night. There was like just a few little specks on the top of the rock over there, but nothing actual like snow was. Oh yeah, it's come down quite a bit. It's way cooler this morning than it was yesterday. I spent a better part of my life trying to fit into that mold that everybody said that I had to be. I had to be one specific thing with a job and all these other kind of things that, you know, I watched my parents and grandparents have. My whole life I thought I had to fit into that mold, and it never ever felt right. It wasn't until I grew up, bought a van, made choices for myself, moved into the van, and started to live my life on my own terms. And sometimes I like to live out here in the backcountry. And us YouTubers, we get a lot of heat sometimes because they're like, we're just glamorizing this whole van life thing. Well, that happened. Right there what you see on the screen, that's legitimately happening. Just because I put a drone out to capture the shot doesn't mean that wasn't my day. This drone shot, that me driving down the road, some people are like, oh, this is so glamorized. No, that's just me driving down a backcountry road. This is legitimately a piece of my life. Is it always epic out here? No. Is it always great out here? No. We do things that most people in life would never do. We go days and days and days without having a shower. We put on dirty clothes in the morning. Why? Because we're trying to conserve the amount of water that we have in our van, and or the trips going back to town to spend money at the laundromat. We do whatever we can out here to stay living the van life and feeling a little bit more free. Does this happen all the time? No. You have to purposely put yourself out here to live a life like this. Now let's answer some questions. All right, Stump. It's me, you, and the camera today. Y'all ready for this? All right. We are... Hey. We're good? We're not gonna fall over? We're good, Stump? All right. What's up, you guys? We're gonna do a Q&A video. See? From on top of a stump. Right here, a stump. Let's do it, my friends. And just before I turn my camera on, that sun popped out. And sorry, I'm gonna tip this camera. As soon as that sun popped out, my first thought in my head, I don't know if this sounds mean or not, my first thought in my head was, hey, snow, you see that? Bye-bye, snow. Sun's coming to get you. I'm not a very big fan of the snow. Not a very big fan of the snow at all. I really enjoy going over to visit it, like driving up to a mountain where the snow is way up high, going up and see the snow, maybe making a nice snow video, or, you know, just it's really pretty when it falls and stuff, but I also want to turn around the next morning and drive away from it. Like I go visit, hey buddy, how you doing? Hang out with you. I'm like, hey man, see you soon, okay? Take care of yourself. Bye-bye, snow. Yeah. Okay, so we got a list of questions. Some of these, this might be a very long video. Yeah, this is probably going to be a long video. Some of these questions here, I know I'm going to babble and babble and babble. When am I going to start the ambulance build? Very soon. I've just been picking up and acquiring a few things that I'm going to need to do the ambulance build, like a welder, because I have body work and stuff needs to be done. But there's a lot of ordering that needs to go on, so I need to order some windows and stuff for it. I just picked up the roof vent already, so we're one step ahead. All the electrical and stuff for solar and everything else. But the very first thing getting done on the ambulance is all the exterior stuff. So it'll get body work, paint, the front clip will be fixed that needs new fenders. It'll probably get front fender flares, bigger tires. I may switch it back to a dually. I'm still undecided on that part because right now the back of the ambulance is like the edge of the screen here. And then the tires are here. Like literally the body's this big, tires are here. And even if I were to put a 4-inch spacer on it, still looks like a big bodybuilder that never works out his legs. That's what the back of that thing looks like. It looks funny. So having the dually will just beef up that back section and also allow the vehicle to be able to haul a little bit more weight and keep it more stable, because that's a pretty wide-bodied rig. And once you get things all chunked up in there, it's going to be pretty tippy. So I figured if we keep the dualies under the bottom, it'll help make that thing a bit more stable. Because I know for me out here in the backcountry in my current van, you hit a couple of like rocky puddles together, and sometimes you have to hit the brakes because the van just goes doom, 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 doom. You know what I mean? And if you were to keep going, you're just going to make it worse, right? So my thought with that is with the ambulance, is it going to be worse because it's also 2.5 feet wide or 2 feet wider than my current van? I think it's 2 feet wider or 1.5 feet wider, something like that. And it's bigger. So a lot of things to decide on that thing. So when are we going to start it? Extremely soon. Probably in the next, it's Christmas, couple weeks, if not January. Because we have a lot of crazy things going on right now. So I wanted to start it December 1st. That's already come and gone. So let's say January 1st, just to give us some cushion time to start buying some of the things that we're going to need. What's the temperature inside of my van with my heater on a cold winter day? So I'm guessing this question is from somebody looking into van life. Let's talk about seasons first. There's 2 golden seasons in van life that are just epic. These are my opinions, by the way. Is spring and fall. The temperatures are just like, they're so good for sleeping in. And I'm a cool night kind of guy in the van. I like the cool breeze. You know what I mean? I like my temperatures a little bit cooler when I sleep. I sleep better. Like I sleep harder. Like I'm out, just passed out. Nothing's gonna get me up. The worst season is summer. Summers in the van are miserable. Like you literally have to go track down cold weather, cooler weather, just to have good night's sleeps because it's hot. Like also makes me think how much of a wuss I am, because I know there's lots of people here that van life in like Arizona in the summer. I can handle it. Like our summer weather here is like Arizona's winter. You know what I mean? And I'm a crybaby at that. So winter times in the van are easy because you can turn a heater on and heat the inside of your van no matter how cold it is outside. I can only speak on anything minus 15 degrees Celsius and warmer, because I don't really have much experience with anything outside of that. So at minus 15 degrees Celsius, Google it if you need to know what it's like in Fahrenheit. So minus 15 degrees Celsius, I can keep the inside of my van at like 18, 19, 20 degrees if I wanted to. A lot of times, even at that, you just shut your heater off sometimes because it gets too warm, or turn it down, whatever you choose to do. But it's very easy to stay cozy warm inside of a van. And this is not only with my expensive Webasto heater that I have in my van now. It was the same thing when I had my Olympian Wave 3 heater. That thing, you just let it run. You just let it go and it'll slowly heat up your whole van.
The Olympian Wave 3 was one of the main heaters that I ran in my van for a majority of my van life. I started with a buddy, had the Wave 3 for the middle huge chunk section, and then last year I got the Webasto one. So the difference is the Webasto one installed was about $2,000 Canadian. Olympian Wave 3, $350 and a bottle of propane. But yeah, winters are fine, man. I kind of enjoy a nice chill night because you go outside, it's like brr, and then you get inside, you're like, huh, so warm. Like even Joseph came by my shop the other day, and while he was in the shop, because it was chilly outside, he left the heater on in his van, so when he left the shop, he could go home to a nice, warm home. Smart guy. I never think of that stuff. I never think I'd just leave the heater on, come back to the van, it's good and warm. I always forget. Do I ever feel burnout because of van life? If you mean burnout like boredom, do I ever get bored with van life? I could see if I didn't work so much. So because I make YouTube videos, I work a lot. Like my days are devoted to filming content and running around and editing and everything else. So I keep myself extremely busy. My van life is unlike a lot of the people that I see just sitting there, just sitting there. They just sit there. They just sit there, and I'm like, what do you guys do with your day? Like, you just sit there? 3 days later, you're still sitting there. What do you do? So I could see maybe if I didn't have anything going on in my life, that there would be some very boring aspects about van life. You know, it's beautiful and it's amazing being out here, but like, what do you do? Like, I just don't know. I don't know how to answer that one because there's so many people out there that just sit, and that's not how my brain works. So do I ever get burnt out? I keep myself incredibly busy living in the van, and I have YouTube, which keeps me busy all day, every day. So for me, I'm really not too sure about being burnt out with van life. I do get burnt out a little bit sometimes when it comes to YouTube, but how I curb that burnout is I go crazy and film a ton over a week. I just devote a week and just keep grinding at making videos, making Q&As, and then later on after this video, maybe make another one today. So if I can get ahead on videos where I have 5, 6, 7 videos just sitting there waiting to come out, then I can take 2 days off and still have 4 videos waiting to come out, you know? So that's how I've curbed my burnout, is to just make and create lots of content. I love what I do. I love this part about my van life. I've always been the person that has never shied away from hard work. So that keeps me occupied. That keeps me being burnt out from boredom that could be caused from sitting still. So maybe that one answered both your questions. Someone also asked too, would I ever get a video editor? That, my friends, would be amazing. Are you kidding me? Like, that's the biggest chunk about YouTube well, let's leave it simple. The 5 hours every day that goes into editing and uploading and creating the thumbnail picture, that 5 hours every day that goes into that. If someone took that away and said, Chrome, just go out and have fun with your camera, send me the footage. It'd be so good, but I don't know if I could bring myself to letting somebody tell my story. It's my story. My story. Shop questions. This one actually could be a full video, but there's only a couple questions here about the shop that I pulled off there. Am I a van build company, and can you hire me to build your van? No, I'm not a van build company. But if you're looking for one on Vancouver Island, J5 Custom Vans. And if you're looking for one in Ontario, they've 2 of them. You've got Ray Outfitted, electrical, solar. They've done tons of work on my van. Ray Outfitted, and if you just need cabinet work done, shipped to you so you could install it, Overland Interiors. So just Google them, Overland Interiors, Ray Outfitted, and J5 Custom Vans. Just the J, number 5, Custom Vans, here on the island. No, I am not a van builder. That's my little YouTube space. Can you bring your van to my shop so you can build it? No. My shop is just what I just said. It's a private space for me, a little hobby shop where we can build things and film stuff. I can work on my van. And I've also opened it up to some of my friends that need a little work on their van from here and there. Like, if you can come into my shop, do something for a day and then get the heck out, yeah, call me. We'll talk about it. As long as I can film it. But having long dragged out builds in there from somebody else is not going to work in my space, because that's my space. And no, at that point, call one of the local van builders and they'll get you all hooked up. Would I replace or rebuild my engine or transmission in my van? So my transmission has been slipping here and there for 3 years now. Never once caused me a problem. Just once in a while when you're going up a hill, it'll just go and then kick in and go. No big deal. And then you won't hear from it for 2-3 months. And then sometimes it'll do it 2 or 3 times in a day, and then you won't hear from it for 6 months. It's been that way the whole time. My transmission and stuff, I just go get it rebuilt by somebody else. My engine, on the other hand, if my engine, I have the 4.6 liter engine in this van. If this engine were to decide to go, we're not working anymore, I would not rebuild it. I would not replace it with a 4.6. If I had the chance to re-put a new engine inside of this van, I would definitely probably put in the V10, which is like the big motor they make for these. I would put the V10 in this bad boy. Like, there's the 5.4 and then there's the V10. If the V10 would fit in here, I would. That would solve all of my power problems. We could be like, wow, up those hills, and oh, it'd be so good. But yeah, if my engine ever decided to pack it in, I would just upgrade the motor, because this van is amazing. It's got all the toys. It's perfect. If it just had more power. Please, engine, don't break on me, but if you do, you're out. Okay? So behave yourself. How's the grip tape on my door? Good question. I put some grip tape right there. So all it is I just got it from the hardware store. It's just tape with like sandpaper on it. I put it there because when my door's open at night, I have a hard time pulling it shut. The door is fairly heavy now that it has all this stuff on it. So yeah, I put the grip tape here. Now I just grab the grip tape, and then once I get the door closed enough, I grab the handle and pull it the rest of the way. That grip tape worked pretty good. Somebody asked me about the rear locker in my van. So if you don't know what that is, inside of your rear differential, which is the thing that makes your tires go turn, in the middle of it, you can get a locker. So what the locker does is it's in the middle, so it locks up and allows both tires to turn. Then you can disengage it and locks them, and then they still run freely as they normally do. I ordered a rear locker for my van. It went in, the locker broke, and I ended up just sending it back to the company that I bought the locker from. They never reimbursed me for it or anything like that. I just told them I don't want the Yukon locker. I want the A or B locker whenever they decide to come available again. And because as of right now, the A or B lockers are on an indefinite back order. So I don't know if that's changed or not, but I would like to get that locker put in over the winter, or a locker of some kind over the winter. So when we take off on our big trek next summer, we're all set up. Having the rear locker is just good in a scenario because mine's not a 4x4, it's a 2-wheel drive. And if I were to get in a situation where my back tires turn, I could hit the locker and just grab traction and roll my way out. How important is social media when you have a YouTube channel? So they were asking about Instagram and Facebook. I honestly hate Facebook, and Instagram sucks. We do post on Instagram every once in a while, and Facebook gets whatever I post on Instagram because they're linked together. I honestly don't think that there's any connection. So when I first got an assistant, she was doing social media every day. She was posting on my Instagram every day. My Instagram was looking epic. Did that fold over to more YouTube subscribers? No. It was just me paying her for an hour's worth of work every single day for a platform that makes me zero money, and didn't do anything. So she doesn't do any of that stuff anymore. None of it. We cut all that stuff. I would honestly love to pull my Instagram and pull my Facebook. I am not a fan of either one of those platforms because neither one of them benefit YouTube, and YouTube does not benefit there. I think what it is that people, they're big on certain platforms. People that watch YouTube, they're YouTubers. They like to watch the YouTube content. And people that are Facebook people, they're Facebookers. That's all they do is Facebook, and they watch videos on Facebook. That's it. They're not one to come over to a secondary platform. So I don't think any of those platforms mix together. Just my opinion. My advice for new YouTubers: stick to a schedule, pick it 2 days a week, whatever it is. Stick to your schedule, maintain uploads. Don't break away from that. Stay consistent, work hard. Don't read your comments. Yeah, that was my advice I gave to my few friends that started YouTube channels in the last year, was don't read the comments. Stuff down there will get in a new YouTuber's head very quick. And then they will always say sorry for things in videos. They'll turn on the camera like, oh, sorry, my camera's shaky today. They're only saying that because they read that in a comment from one person that whined about it. You know, like, just accept who you are and go out and make videos, be true to who you are, and be natural. Because I find when new YouTubers read their comments too much, when they read in there, they change. They start making content. They start, you know, standing center because someone complained that, hey, you're a little off center today. It was really annoying. So then that gets in their head. Then they're always making sure that they're centered, or they'll be talking like, oh, sorry guys, let me move over here. That way I'm in the middle. That's what happens when you read your comments. So my advice to new YouTubers is not worth the time. Sure, pop in there once in a while, but not worth it. Keep your head clear. Keep your head in the game. Do what you love to do. Commenters are freaking out right now. I see them all down there like, rah, rah, rah. Can you mail me stuff? Once upon a time, you used to be able to mail me stuff. So my mailbox in Vancouver charges me when you send me something. And then when it sits there for long periods of time, it's all costing me money. So I decided to remove my address. There's some things you guys see on my channel that I end up keeping that I'll show you guys. Oh, thank you, you know, so-and-so for sending me this. But there's like 40 more packages there that day that probably cost me $100 for them to take and hold that I didn't use. Some were cool gifts for van dwellers that I just didn't need in my van that I gave to another van dweller. But all this stuff just ended up costing me money. And at the end of the day, there's times when the mailbox calls me and says, Chrome, there's way too much stuff here. You need to come get it. Then it's a $150 round trip here to go out there to grab those packages that most of them, an email would have been great. Or a comment. I know you're all like, Chrome, you don't read your comments. I do sometimes. Where do you think I got these from? How hard is it to find free overnight parking? Pull over. Simple as that. Literally pull over. I can only give you this advice from here, and I've traveled coast to coast in Canada. Zero problems whatsoever finding parking. Nada. I got friends of mine that are full-time van lifing right now in San Diego and other places in California. Zero problems. It's about you being smart with where you park. Being smart meaning don't park somewhere that you know you're not allowed to. If the sign says no, don't do it. If the sign has a 4-hour restriction and you're going to sleep for 8 hours, don't do it. Simple as that. Don't park in front of people's houses on a little cul-de-sac, little sweet neighborhood street. You're going to get that rattle on the side of the van from somebody because they're all like, calling hey Marsha, is that your van out there? No. Hey Steve, is that your van out there? No. Hey Frank. They know the neighbors. So when something rocks the neighborhood, something new, they're like, I'm a little bit weirded out by this. Why is that van there? 911. Hey, there's a weird van parked on my street and I think somebody's sleeping in it. Boom, they're gonna come by, rattle on your door. Why? Because you didn't use this before you parked that night. Don't sleep in public parks that have, signs says open dawn till dusk. Don't do that. Not unless you know that the local authorities out there allow van dwellers to stay in those areas. And there is some parks where you can get away with stuff like that, even though the signs are posted where the local bylaws are like, you know what, we understand there's a lot of you guys around here. You guys are okay to stay there at night. So like there's a few Walmarts that have signs that say 4-hour maximum customer parking, right? That sign was there for daytime parking so you don't leave your car there, go to work and come back and use it as a park and ride. But some of those Walmart parking lots allow you to park overnight. Like there's a few of them I've been to where they actually have laws. I've talked to the guy in the morning. He's like, yep, come after 6 p.m., be gone by 9. I don't want to see any vans in this parking lot past 9 a.m. That way our customers can come in here and have a place to park. So that it's pretty easy, guys. I literally will just pull over. Just if there's no sign, you're okay for the night. Do not squat. Do not sit in one place for long periods of time. Do not make that your regular spot 7 days a week. Do not park there one night. and then go out and adventure during the day and come back to that same spot every night because people will only just see you there at night. Because what if they drove by to go to work in the morning? That thing's still there. They come by at work at night and you pulled back in at 7 o'clock. They're just coming back home from work. They're like, that damn guy's been squatting there for like 6 months, even though you leave during the day. Just make your parking spots variable. Just change them up. Even if you have 5 different spots you park in one town, 5, that's it. Rotate them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You get it? Just keep them on a rotation, because the less amount people see you squatting somewhere, the less of a problem you're going to have. Just keep moving. There is no problems finding parking, but there's also people that squat too that wreck it for the rest of us. So for all you people that like to park and squat, just so you know, that's how parking, no overnight parking signs go up. Nobody puts those signs up there until they've had a problem, and they do that, and which means you wreck it for us. There's a lot of beautiful places right along the beach somewhere that you used to be able to pull up and have a good night and then leave, and then next year when you come back you can pull up in that spot for the same night because you remember it last year. But then what happens is all the local van dwellers, the locals, the ones that are in that town, they feel the right, like the right to just park there in front of homes. You don't have that right. So once you're there all the time, the locals that drive by you are like, oh, heck no, this is not going to fly. They call authorities or they call the city comes down, puts big signs up that says no overnight parking. Is my Jackery 500 big enough to run a fridge? That is something that you need to figure out. So the Jackery batteries are pretty easy to figure out. So the Jackery 500 is a 500 watt hour battery. So if your fridge pulls 1 watt, it will run for 500 hours. If your fridge pulls 500 watts, probably doesn't, but if your fridge pulls 500 watts, it will run for 1 hour, and that battery will be dead. So all you got to do is plug your fridge into the front of the Jackery, or find out what the wattage is on the fridge on how much it takes to run. But the Jackeries are great. You can plug it into the front of the Jackery, turn your fridge on, and it'll tell you right there, especially on the new ones, how many hours it will run on that unit. Like for me, I plugged in my diesel heater at the shop the other day as an experiment. You plugged it in, you looked at it, and it says, oh, right now it'll run for 32 hours or whatever it said. So if that was full, it would have probably been 35 hours of runtime. Cool. I'll run it for 2 hours tonight, 2 hours tomorrow, 2 hours the next day. We'll be good for a bit, you know? So those are things you're going to have to figure out, but that's how to do it. So if you have a 250 watt, Magic Bullet, the little blender, 250 watt blender, and it tells you, so the 250 watt blender would run for 2 hours on a Jackery 500. So figure that out. If you're blending for 60 seconds a day, how long will that last? You know what I mean? Or if you buy the Jackery 1000 or the 1500, you can figure that out that way too, right? But yeah, easy. Watt hours. So a 1500 watt hair dryer will not work on a 500 watt unit. You'll need a 1500 watt unit to run a 1500 watt thing, because that's the insides. Anyway, guys, long story. We could babble about that forever, but will a Jackery 500 run your house system if you have enough power coming in? I know the person asked that question said that they have some foldable solar panels. If you're in this kind of weather condition, your battery is going to be dead in no time. If you're not driving and not plugging your Jackery into your dashboard to get your alternator power back, then you're going to be in non-stop problems. So we have really poor solar quality out here in the west coast of Canada in the winter. And if you're not driving around getting alternator charging, that's the key. If you have a means of keeping those batteries full, oh heck yes, they'll run a fridge. I met a girl that came to one of my gatherings in Vancouver that has 2 Explorer 240 batteries, 2 of them. And while one's being used, she leaves one outside plugged in with the solar panel folded outside. So that's what she does. She leaves one out charging while one's in being used. That's her usual cycle. And she runs an ARB fridge off of an Explorer 240 battery, a little one. But she says she always needs to have that charge, and she spends a majority of her time down south where they get really good solar conditions, where, you know, like you pop your 100 watt panels out and they'll give you like 80 watts all day. If I popped a 100 panel watt out here, it'd probably give me 3 watts. Seriously, it would probably give me 3 watts. Anyway, guys, hopefully some of these questions answered some of your questions that you guys have had. It's really hard on my live streams to go through everybody's questions, but we try our best here to answer as many as you can. If you have a lot of beginning van life questions, please go watch a playlist I have on my channel called Binge Watch It All. Watch my first year of my van life. If you watch that entire season, it's my movie of my life. If you watch the entire first season of VANCITY Van Life, you guys will be caught up to date on what you need to know to start van life. Because I literally vlogged from the day I left my apartment moving into my van. I vlogged every day and all my experiences. So if you want to learn something, man, that's where to learn it, because we all learned it all together. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Woo. Such a good day. All right, let's go have some fun. Let's go, boy.